How's it going, my people? This is your boy Wired Up, and welcome to another episode of Wired Up TV. Hope you guys got your hands on the steering wheel and are keeping your eyes on the road. Take care of whatever you gotta take care of. Now, my people, let's get down to the nitty gritty and to the lecture at hand. I made a video a couple of days ago about GOBI and the 7 days, the movie. And, we've tried to get GOBI on before, but he said he never, agreed to come on here or anything like that. So I could only tell the side of the story that other people would tell me. You know what I'm saying? So there's not much you can do but tell what you got, right? So he got in contact with me, told me, hey bro, that's not the business. Check it out. This is my side. This is what happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and put that out too. So I spoke to Reggie Wright Jr. and he said Reggie Wright didn't talk trash, didn't say anything disrespectful. All he said was, I don't remember. There was a lot of people. It is 20 years ago. Could have maybe been there, maybe not. He does not remember. There was a lot of people. That's what he says. And GOBI says he was there. The way he describes stuff, man, it seems legitimate or whatever, of him being there. Of course, pictures will help and videos will help. But, maybe that's what the 7 days, the movie is going to, was going to be about or is or whatever the case might be with that. But, we would love to have, GOBI on the show, to get his side of the story. Because anybody that was around Pac and stuff like that, we want to hear. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So, that's what happened. I did hear what I said, the last episode. I did hear a lot of people on YouTube and all kinds of other stuff, other people saying that, he never returned the money and all that stuff. That I don't know 100% sure if it's true or not. I mean, people could be lying, right? But that's why we want to have GOBI on here, for him to set his record straight and tell us his truth. And, maybe speak a little bit about Pac. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to get him on. Hopefully he agrees. But I want you guys to down on the comments. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want GOBI on the show, you know what I'm saying? Throw up a big GOBI. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to try to get him on the show. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? GOBI called me, respectfully and firmly. He told me, look, man, that's not the whole truth. I said, well, let me hear the truth, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I can only tell one side of the story when I only got, one side of it. So he told me he was there. Basically, he sent me an article, right, with, I believe it was Esquire magazine, basically saying, that he got there and that he saw Pac, that his head was swollen and all that stuff. And there was a big fat white lady that kept telling him and keeping him up on what was happening with Pac. And he said at the middle of the night, there wasn't many people out there. He said maybe the outlaws were out in the cars and stuff like that, but him and, a couple of friends, or maybe only him, were the only ones in, in the hospital and stuff like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is, I don't want to keep rambling on, because it's just my word, just my opinion or whatever, or my remembrance of what the article said. I'm going to go ahead and read and post the actual article. And when I read the article, I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? It's a trip, but you hear both sides of the story, it makes things come back much closer together, right? When you just hear, and I'm not talking about, a lot of people on YouTube said an article said all that negative stuff about GOBI. It's not just one person or two people or three. So when you only get that, and the man himself doesn't answer you, it's kind of hard to, make both, sides. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. But when I read it, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Wow, I've never read that part, right? Only researches we've done is about the 7 day movie, and little articles here and there, but most of it was negative. So shout out to GOBI for being a man and reaching out to us. That's what we like. You know what I'm saying? And we respect that here on Wired Up, and telling us, you know what, man, this is my truth. This is what went on, and I read it, and it's just real trippy, man. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like reading a book, just reading that article, man. It was pretty cool. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Write a big gobi on the comment side down, and that's gonna tell us that. So here we go. So we're gonna read his side. About 8 months before Tupac Shakur was shot down during a drive-by in an intersection east of the Las Vegas Strip, videographer GOBI and Rahimi got into a water gun fight with the rapper in an LA backyard. It was early 1996, and Rahimi, who with his partner Tracy Robinson worked on music videos for Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and what did it say? Farside, had been called on to meet with Tupac. The rapper, his family, and members of the Outlaws crew were grilling in the backyard, smoking weed, and shooting each other with water guns. Pac took a break to talk money over the phone with Death Row Records boss Suge Knight. Rahimi decided to pick up his gun. He squirted it into the air, and within a few seconds, the Outlaws had him surrounded. They sprayed him. He tried to hit them back, and suddenly Tupac broke into the middle of all of it. That's what I'm talking about. This MFer won't give up. All you MFers are attacking him. That's a crazy Iranian. Rahimi recalls this Tupac saying, "That's the first time he called me the crazy Iranian." And at the time, I was like, I love this guy. In the months leading up to his death, then 30-year-old Rahimi worked on or directed most of Tupac's videos, including Two America's Most Wanted, How Do You Want It, and the rapper's final video, Made Niggas. Today, he's working on a film called 7 Days about the final week of Tupac's life. Amid growing tensions with Death Row Records, Suge convinced Tupac to go see Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand September 7th that night. After scrapping the MGM following the fight, Tupac and Suge made their way to a party at Knights Club 662 in a black BMW 750 at 11:15 p.m. on the corner of Flamingo Road and Covo Lane. An unidentified white Cadillac pulled up to the right of the BMW and opened fire. Tupac was hit 4 times and rushed to University Medical Center. This is what happened in Rahimi's words. Between the shooting and Tupac's death in a hospital bed at 4:03 p.m. on September 13th, 1996. September 7th was Tracy, my partner's birthday, so I kind of convinced her and a few other production people to go to Vegas to celebrate. She was very against the idea. Didn't want to be around Death Row people and didn't enjoy the idea of Vegas. I kind of knew we had to be there for some reason. We made it out there. I tried to get us tickets to the fight and I couldn't get into the fight. So we went to 662 because we planned on meeting Tupac there. We were hanging out in the club and the atmosphere was just off. There was a bunch of gangbangers and policemen. The place was filled with cops and unsavory characters. I remember Nate Dogg was walking through the crowd up to every group of people he recognized, and he finally walked up to us and said, "Pac and Suge have been shot." We found out that he had been taken to University Medical Center. We went there, and I remember one of the first things I saw was Kidada Jones and his cousin Jamala crying on the payphones. Everyone else that was in the ER waiting room was Suge's people. It was his mom and dad. It was his lawyer. It was Reggie Wright, and there was no one there for Tupac. It was just us. Within an hour, the nurse came out and walked up to Suge's mom. Suge's mom said, "How's my baby? How's my baby?" And the nurse said, "Ma'am, your son's fine. He got hit with a piece of shrapnel, probably a piece of glass. We're going to give him a couple of stitches, and he's going to be taken to a private room within an hour." Then she turned to us and said, "Unfortunately for Tupac, it's not the same situation. His right lung was shot. so we had to remove it. There will be a series of reparative operations, and it will probably take 12 hours. Basically, that was the first night of me sitting watch from 12 to 8 in the morning for the next 6 nights. The scariest thing about that night is that it was really just me and Tracy. We were the only one from Pac's camp. His fiance and his cousin were just bawling in the corner. They tried to get some death row security but couldn't find anyone who were normally his 2 security guards. We were just scared shitless. For me, it was like Enzo the baker in The Godfather. We had no clue what to do, but we knew we had to be there. The next day, we tried to get him moved from the first floor where you could see into his room, but we got no help from the hospital. From the hospital administrations. It was the scariest 6 nights of my life. There were undercover FBI agents. The police weren't helping. I got one of the death threats. The marketing director came up to me on the 3rd day and said they called the row. They're going to come finish him off. Then he walked away. So I called Vegas PD and said, send the troops. They're going to come finish Tupac off. The lady came back on the phone and said, sir, we're a little understaffed right now. So if anything should happen, go get the foot patrol in the hospital immediately. I was like, something's a little off here. I remember that earlier that day we had a press conference, so I called all the local news stations and said every hour there will be a news conference, and I thought at least there will be people here with cameras if stuff should go down. It was just chaos and no support. We didn't trust death row. We didn't trust anyone. After all of that happened, there was a southern old security guard in the corner, and he started chuckling and was like, son, I've got to tell you, last year there was a white rodeo star who broke his leg, and the Vegas Police Department gave him 4 policemen and 6 wagons for his family and friends to be comfortable. I thought, isn't that a bitch? That the #1 rapper in the world can be laid up in the hospital and can't get any sort of security. Part of that is indicative to all the racial divide in this country that's still going on today. Pac talked about that, and I think he suffered from that as well. Pac was in induced coma the entire time because every time he came to, he tried to pull the plug and get out of bed. I stayed every day, and I went to get his mom or whoever flew in from the airport. We had a hotel nearby where I shared a room with his biological father. I would stay there a few hours during the day and keep watch at the hospital at night. I was imagining that a bunch of gangbangers would run through there with Uzis and shoot the place up. I didn't grow up with guns or any of that stuff, but I was a scrapper, and I felt that if there were any questionable people, I could attack them. There was a fat old white nurse that would come out and give me a progress report. One night she came out and said that Tupac, he's a fighter. I almost lost him and got him right back. I'm not 100% sure why. I had plenty of opportunities to go see him, but I didn't because I was afraid to see him. Then on the 5th night, that same nurse was like, baby, you've been here this whole time. Why don't you go in and see your friend? I went in there, and it was just me and him. It was a dark room, and he had the tube down his throat. He was basically naked except for the couple of sheets that had him covered with. His head was swollen twice the size. Wow. And everywhere there was a bullet wound. There was gauze on each end. Blood was seeping through. He was missing a finger, so that was banged up. I walked up to him and I put my hand on his arm. He was ice cold. I'd imagine because of all the fluids going through him. I said a little prayer and I walked out. And that was the last time I ever saw him. He was like my little brother. He was someone who I felt the responsibility to do whatever I could for him to survive. And I don't mean the shooting. I mean all of the drama that he was surrounded with before with death row and all the people he was surrounded with. On the 6th night was when the fruit of Islam showed up, and suddenly everyone showed up. It seemed kind of crazy that it took that long and everyone was like, let's go take care of Tupac. I sort of felt I couldn't do anything more there. Tracy had left a few days earlier to go back to LA. On the sixth night, the nurse finally said that he was 13% better. That's when I decided to go back because that's the first time I thought this MFer had 9 lives. Maybe he is going to pull through. I went back to LA, and the next day I remember hearing Theo on the beat say that Pac had passed. We were on our way to set, and everyone in the van started crying. I've heard all the rumors from it could be Suge, it could be P. Diddy who paid for it, it could be the fight with Orlando Anderson. You know, at the end of the day, Tupac had a voice. The one thing he didn't have was subtlety. If he had continued on the same path he had been on, someone would have taken him out. He was disruptive, and he was a threat. He was a threat to the establishment. I don't know who took him out, but whoever took him out took out someone very important who could have done a lot for African Americans, humanity, and humanity as a whole. At 25, he had accomplished more than some people do in a lifetime. One of the last meetings I had with him, he said, people aren't going to recognize me in 6 months. I'm going to act like such an adult. He was ready for a transformation. He wanted to be more than a stereotype. So there you go, my people. That is GOBI's side of the story. He didn't tell me much, but he did refer me to this article. Okay? I always say, what I do is I put out the information forward and you guys do what you want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? You guys read it and make up your own mind. Okay? Your perception is your reality, so make up your own mind. Okay? You know, there's a lot of rumors out there of about a lot of people. We can only put out whatever we got. So, this is his side of the story so far. You know, I would love to pick his brain and see what he got to say and all that stuff. I'm not going back, you know, and with my tail between my legs saying, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. No. I said what I believed because I only had one side of the story, like I said. Now I got two sides of the story. He got in touch. Before, he never got in touch with me. All right? So, you know, we can put out both sides. Now, you know, I can really think about it. My opinion is there's a lot of truth, I believe, in what GOBI's saying. Now, the situation about the movie, the 7 Days movie, and, you know, people saying he didn't give the money back and all this stuff, or whatever the case may be, that, I don't know. I would have to interview for him, you know, to let me know what's up, and he could tell his side of the story with that one. But all the articles I've read have been nothing but negative to the man, you know. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We're here to put out the truth, guys. We're here to put out the truth, and we're here to expose the phonies. You know what I'm saying? And this is the most realist channel that there is, flat out, plain out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not calling GOBI a phony. You know, when he reached out to me and stuff like that, you know, that's respect for me for GOBI. You know what I'm saying? He came at me right, and you know, let me know his side of the story. So we're putting that side of the story out there. So now, I think there's a lot of truth to what GOBI's saying. You feel me? I believe he was there, man. I really believe he was there, and that's a shock to hear all that what he's saying about the head being twice the size, and he was a missing finger. You know, there's, by the way, for those people that think that, you know, whoever was in the car, I know some of you believe that there was doubles and all kinds of stuff, and but I guess Pac did get his finger shot off. So there's another person that's saying that. You know, we've had a couple of people saying that Pac was shot in the finger. You know, some people said that it was not true and this and that. But anyways, guys, you know, it was good to have him, but I truly believe that he was there, and it's really, to me, when I read this article, like I said, I felt like I was in there, man. It's crazy. You know, how is there nobody there protecting him? Nobody gave a damn about Tupac, man. You know, that's what it seems like to me. And I'm not talking about his homies like the Outlaws and people like that. You know what I'm saying? They were there, they were riding for Pac. I'm talking about the police, man. Other people, you know what I'm saying? They really had it out for Pac, bro. Because Pac was real. He was telling you what was going on, the truth. You know, and if somebody wasn't real, He was exposing them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we trying to do here. Okay, we trying to bring truth and light to the people and to the community. You know what I'm saying? And whoever is pure and honest at heart, we got much respect from, and we got a lot of love from. And we love to put the information out there and let you guys sort it out. Whether you guys believe GOBI, whether you guys don't believe, I mean, that's up to you. That's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? My opinion is it seems genuine. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he's there. He's telling it like very forthtelling, like he sat down and thought about it and tried to remember as much as he could. But again, that's just my opinion. You guys have to make up your own opinion. And, use this evidence, the article, whatever, to, put your pieces together in your own case, or whatever you guys are doing, man. That's the whole reason for the channel. We put all the evidence out there. You know what I mean, guys? Make up your own minds, all right? We're real strong on that for you guys to make up your own minds. You know what I'm saying? You guys don't have to agree 100% what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But make up your own minds. If you guys have any information, any new leads or anything, let your boy know. You guys know where to send it or whatever. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion. It seems like now that I got, to speak to him or whatever, it seems like it seems genuine, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he was there. I think he saw a lot of stuff, even though he probably wasn't working for Pac, at that time. Doesn't mean he couldn't been there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't right there. I didn't know 100% of their friendship. So that's why we would like to have him on, so he can tell us his side, man. So we can have his side. Yeah, but I think that's my opinion, that he was there. You know what I'm saying? It's 20 years ago, man. Sometimes people, I can't remember who, a lot of people that were there in birthday parties and stuff like that, for about 5-10 years ago. So, I can understand. People don't remember other people. But yeah, with that being said, guys, that's my opinion. Keep your head up. And like I always tell you guys, always stay wired up, y'all. Keep safe. Keep doing your thing. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.